I figure when Hollywood decides to do a sequel, they must say to themselves, people loved that movie. They want more. More of what, though? How this is interpreted can result in something that's a hit or something that's not. So let's look at the latest sequel to grace the silver screen, Beetlejuice, which I will henceforth refer to as Beetlejuice 2. The best thing by far about this sequel was definitely Michael Keaton's return as Beetlejuice. Of all the actors in Beetlejuice 2, Keaton was the one who genuinely brought back the character we all knew and loved. 36 years later, 36 years older, and Keaton still delivered the same energetic and comedic performance. I love Winona Ryder and I love Catherine O'Hara, but it felt to me like they were so used to playing their other more recent roles that they just sort of played it as those characters, rather than keeping the same characteristics as the original Lydia and Delia Dietz. Jenna Ortega genuinely did a very good job in this sequel. Ortega was one of the more entertaining characters to watch in this movie. She didn't play the character overly brooding or morose. In fact, her character had the most natural behavior and reactions to what was happening around her. What made the original Beetlejuice so good was how different it was. Beetlejuice was Tim Burton's first really big movie. People were not familiar with his gothic, surreal style yet. Movies like Edward Scissorhands and The Nightmare Before Christmas were still yet to come. So right off the bat, the look and feel of this movie alone grabbed the audience's attention. And then there's the storyline. What I love about this movie, and in fact a lot of movies from this era, is they were not afraid to take the time to just let the story unfold. Often in movies today, you'll have a character just announce to the room what's happened, rather than take the time to create the scenes and dialogue that would let the plot reveal itself. When Barb and Adam have the car accident, we see the car flip over and start to sink, so we know there's trouble. But in the next scene, we see them arriving home, mostly unscathed, so we think, oh, they're okay. But almost immediately, we start to see little clues that don't appear to be clues until enough of them reveal themselves. Barb's fingers catching fire, floating next to the bed, the lack of a reflection. All of these scenes build up to the moment that it dawns on them that they may be ghosts. And that's usually where a story would end with traditional writing. But Beetlejuice went further. The focus of the movie wasn't how they died or the fact that they did die, but instead this cool exploration of what happens in the afterlife. What would that be like? What would it look like? And that's what always made Tim Burton's movie so interesting. Because in addition to the look and feel of the movie having a surreal quality, the storyline was almost always also outside of the box. The sequel leaned heavily on common tropes like mother-daughter strained relationship, extraordinary event allows mother and daughter to see each other's side, relationship mended. Because this was a theme that ran throughout the movie, it made the bulk of the story very predictable, which strayed from the original Beetlejuice that tried to tell a story that had never really been explored before. It would have been fun to see a new set of circumstances that weren't so familiar and well-known. Beetlejuice 2 tried to recreate the memorable scene of the original with a new lip-sync/possession scene, and this is an example of how all the money in the world cannot buy charm. In the sequel, we have an altar scene where Beetlejuice uses his power of possession to get the guests to lip-sync "Someone Left a Cake Out in the Rain." I mean, I get it. There's a cake in the scene. Song has the word cake. The problem is that all the special effects in the world isn't enough to make sitting through 2 minutes of what is a very slow, very boring song fun. Now contrast that with the lip sync scene from the original movie. The special effects for this scene seem to be limited to $50 to make these shrimp gloved hands that come out of the dinner plates. But this was one of the most memorable scenes in the movie. They created this strange moment where you can tell nobody has control of their body, and that's really scary, but the song and choreography are so upbeat and funny that you really don't mind. It was so memorable, in fact, that they used the song in the trailer for the sequel. And this should be very encouraging and motivational for all the upcoming writers out there because it proves that you do not need a huge budget to create something people will love. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching.